Hello, and welcome to All Talk No Dice, the worst excuse for a D&D show you can find online. From last we left off, the Companions of Fate had to wish your new friends from the Kingdom of New Draconia a farewell, as they left you to return to their own business. Soon after that, Gerald handed your arachnoid ally Theron's letter, and you all began to discuss on what to do regarding Red, your charmed prisoner, worrying what may happen when she is free from her trance. With some chatter as the next day or so goes by, you prepare some attunements and you're filled in with some extra information regarding Red's father and the group that is waiting for all of you within Geralf. Setting sights now on Guldrone, a small settlement which Ralof called home some years ago to the far north of Yoldurheim, planning to travel on foot or horseback to Theron's home of Geralf to attempt to catch Pike off guard. You clear things up on the ship, making sure to name all of your Pledrian aides amongst the crew, giving them all new identities and lives, having your captain wail out an inspirational shanty, now closing into the northern point of Yoldurheim and beginning to lower the vessel down onto the sea. Now, just as the ship begins to take the weirdly unnatural yet missed battering of waves crashing against the hull, you all see the small haphazard dock only half a mile away, yet below deck you hear a mighty rumble as you hear Red shouting out and a tumble happen. All the while you get closer and closer to Ralof's home of old, Guldrone. And this is where we pick it up. So, in that moment as Ralof, mainly your eyes are fixated on the distant shoreline just half a mile away, feeling the anticipation and excitement, maybe some worry grow slightly. And all of you slowly let your stomachs acclimate to the shifting of the ship. Now it's touching water. And just as the waves begin to crash on either side, you hear a large thump from downstairs. And you hear Red just exclaim, "Get off me! Get away from me!"
Ooh, this should be fun. I go to head on down. I say, are the Pledrines up?
You notice that 4 of them are. One is missing.
Keep it steady, guys. I'll do this.
And all of them just nod to you, kind of looking down towards like below deck, thinking about moving. But as soon as you give the order to keep going, they just nod and almost like now, all right, well, fuck whatever's going on. Just nonchalantly look back and keep going, doing to the jobs.
I'm gonna head down.
Okay. What else is everyone doing?
I seen Gerald go down, and knowing that the guys are staying to man the ship, I'll also follow.
Okay.
In pursuit.
All right. Theron and Ralof, are you guys heading down as well, or?
Would they technically be still downstairs?
We were tuning up on the top, weren't we?
I can't quite remember, to be honest. I just wasn't sure if he was still downstairs.
Well, just for now, I'll say that you would come up, just on the top deck as you landed on sea, just to peer out of the surroundings.
Yeah. Cool.
Probably I'll move a bit closer to the stairs just so I can still hear what's going on.
Okay.
But I'll just keep an eye out just in case we need to turn at all. Or...
Alright, sounds good. The Pledrine kind of look over to you and then still continue their jobs, making sure they stay true on course.
Out of interest, where are all those floaty bikes things?
Wherever you've stored them.
Probably.
Well, they're not up on deck.
I would assume that we put them where like our stock stuff is.
That's fine if that's the
I mean,
case.
I've got one on me.
Theron will just stay upstairs.
Okay. Alright, so Tara and Gerald, both of you head down. Ralof just covering the stairwell as you both head down. And in the crew deck, as you launch yourselves down, you see Red with her back to you, with her elbows out slightly, and like just slightly raised. and as she hears your footfalls, she just spins, and you see she's got one large dagger, that really bulky one, pressed just not stabbing, but just gently poking one of the Pladrine's sides, and then a smaller dagger up against his throat. As he is about a foot or so taller than her, maybe about a foot and a half, she is up, holding up here, but you see that she is almost in complete full control.
Okay.
I'll say. Gerald, from your naming, you see that Turk is currently just like standing. He has one hand sort of on his scimitar, but you notice he's gripping it. But then as you come down, he kind of just like slightly releases, but keeps his palm flat on the pommel. And you hear Red, "Just get away from me!"
Whoa, Red. What's going on here? Of all the things, they aren't going to hurt you. We can at least let him go.
How do I know that then?
I gave him the order. You ought to be treated as a guest. He wasn't going to hurt you.
What, and you're not going to kill me like you did my brother?
Technically, that was the Queen of New Draconia.
And how about I just take one of yours then? See all you little fuckers just go on without me?
I'm not letting you do that.
There was a part of you that didn't really want your brother here. I'm just going to focus on her face if she makes any kind of... I will... that moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you do notice her eyes kind of like just look down to the ground for a second.
Okay.
And when they come up, they are just straight at Gerald, almost not trying to make eye contact with you at all.
Anyone else? Just Gerald.
Come on. If we want to have some trust between us, if we don't, we won't make any advances on you if you just let him go.
You tell this one stay away from me, yeah?
Easy. Yeah. Turk?
And you see Turk, who's... Both you notice right now, just as you make eye contact with him, Gerald, you notice, albeit he has a blade up to his throat and one gently prodding in his abdomen, he's just stone-faced, not even broke a sweat, not worried, just, again, like a very dutiful soldier that would fall on his sword for you.
Yeah. Once released, please just head up to the top deck and move your comrades and ensure plain sailing. Okay. And now?
You're lucky that I'm really nice. As she pulls away. And still holding her blades, but with like just a looser grip, almost casual, but still presenting them.
As a height difference, is she standing up? Obviously, both of us are all standing up.
Yeah.
Is she considerably smaller, or is she?
I'd say.
I know, obviously, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Walk around, right?
I'd say just as a perspective for height, she is probably around between 4'10" and 5 foot.
Okay. I'll kind of like crouch down a little, just to kind of like meet her eye line.
Turk just passes both of you, kind of like looking at you, Gerald, as he passes and nodding, as he just.
Thank you, Turk.
I'll say, "Come on, there's no need to worry," and I'm just bringing out a hand, an open hand.
Gerald's gonna sit down.
And she just looks down at your hand. If I cut you, would you bleed?
If you're on about blood, I don't know.
Do you want to try?
No. I'll take away my hand.
And as you take away your hand, she just sheaths both. That bulky one behind her lower back, and the other just in a small sheath just to her side.
No problem.
And she holds her hand out to you.
I want to inspect the hand before I make contact with it. Has she got no stuff on her hand or random shite?
You glance down, just dirt. You can just at the glance you can vaguely see the muscles that enable her to give the finger every now and then are a little bit more jacked than others.
Yeah.
But other than that, you just see fairly calloused, dirty, young, small hands.
I will extend back my arm
and she grabs on.
hold the hand as calmly as possible.
Yeah,
to
and
fully
she,
stand up.
even though the situation was just tense, when she holds your hand, it is as delicate and gentle as you'd imagine holding a hand of like a younger sister or just a younger girl.
I will walk her back up to the top.
And
if that's where she's,
and
that's where we're going.
Yeah, and she just walks alongside with you and sort of funnels behind you, but still holding onto your hand, almost now as if like the parent leading the child. You head up, and just as you both pass Gerald,
Oh, we're heading up, are we? I thought just someone still sat down. Or...
and Red just mutters, "Yeah, we're gonna be best friends now. Unless you want me to cut you, or make me cut you."
No, she's in charge of you now. Congratulations.
And she just looks at you, Tara. Just looks up as you're walking up the stairway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're friends then.
For now. Yes.
Don't make me cut you. And she follows you up.
Okay.
And as you get back up to the top deck, you see as Rayloff, you are making sure the area is clear, and you are definitely heading to your home as opposed to any of the other small like concaves or indents of the continent and other shorelines. Making sure just to mention here and there to the other Pladrine just to fix this sail or loosen off this rope, just to make sure the course is completely dead set on Guldrome. But Tara, Red, after Turk came up and passed you, Tara, Red, and Gerald, all three very calmly returned back to the top deck. Theron, through all of that time, was there anything you were doing?
No, I was just looking out to the brisk cold air.
Okay.
And then what I will do is I'll turn around and be like, everybody up for some breakfast?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Okay. I'll just make my way down. Well, yeah, I'll make my way down to Seabiscuit and help her out.
Okay. So both you and Seabiscuit begin to prepare a small breakfast. There's only about half a mile or so from you to the shoreline. But in just a few moments, Theron, you come up with this small sort of a few small bowls of just like a lobby or a stew, just very hearty, warm, fills you up, not too heavy, but it does fill a hole. And if there's anything like you guys would like to do as you are traveling, the sensation is very different from the days and days that you've spent in the air. As you're eating your stew, both your stomach and the contents of your bowl all begin to churn and move against the ship as the waves continuously just rock the ship. You hear the wood gently just creaking against as the waves crash against the sides. But with a little bit of time to go, if there's anything you want to do.
I would like to ask Morthos to step aside.
Who's Morthos?
I also-
Different campaign.
Yeah, it's because we were
Come on.
talking about it last time.
Head in the game.
Gerald, could I have a word?
Yes, of course. When we move to the side,
Uh,
I'm going to try and keep an eye on Red as well. Keep
Yeah,
her
yeah.
position to see where she is.
Yeah, she's hunkered down, just sitting down next to the mast, just eating some of the stew and keeping her eyes exactly on you, Gerald.
Yeah.
How long we got till we reach our destination?
Roll a survival check.
It's captains, that's the problem.
Can I sort of point out to try and help? Just
I
sort of
only
point
need
out.
I only need rough light thing. 19 plus whatever or not plus whatever, I don't know.
I would like to have my back to Red though.
Yeah, that's okay.
Plus 3.
Perception.
Okay.
19 plus 3.
You'd estimate no more than a couple hours.
Okay. I shall do the ritual spell. Find familiar.
Okay.
Whilst I've got the time.
Yeah. Okay, so time.
Time.
So while you begin to draw out the small glyphs with chalk and placing various little objects down and get your tome out and you begin to start this ritual, it's going to take a few minutes. But while those 10 or so minutes are going by, is there anything the rest of you are doing?
Yeah. So, Tara, what did you want?
Still eating the stew. I don't. Saying it as closest to a whisper, just enough, so Gerald can hear. I don't trust her as far as I can throw. And
I must admit, I think that's pretty far, to be honest. But
still, I think she has an agenda.
well, what do you?
Good.
What do you want me to do? Do the same thing as yesterday?
I feel like if she's does anything funny, probably best. Casually making random sounds because it's so good. I like this in a long time.
You can't taste any of that, can you?
No.
Right, so,
Is it good?
you know I can't taste either, right?
Oh. I didn't. Tastes good!
Off the side!
Off the side!
I know.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on it, don't worry. You're good.
While they're sort of having their offshoot talk, I'll just, while not a lot is happening, I'll just take out the pot of pleasantness and just take out whatever's grown in it.
Okay. You pull out the pot and you look, and just finishing blooming, you see this sort of pearlescent, almost like pearl white in the center flower, that as it blooms, it begins to open the petals up, and it opens to this gorgeous sort of pearl white gradients to the tips of a gorgeous cyan. And you very quickly recognize this as a bloomer, which you know is very local to your homeland. Put in a lot of herbs for medicinal purposes, for any kind of like treatment to do with dulling down any kind of pain. Depending on how it is prepared. You can throw it in with food to add a almost like a, I guess for us, almost like a thyme kind of flavor to it, or a little bit of rosemary. But you do know that these bloomers are able to sort of create almost like a substance that will dull the nerve endings if you have a certain wound or laceration.
So more like anesthetic then.
Kind of, yeah.
But
Basically,
it can also have a healing effect.
yeah,
A minor one.
yeah. You know though from from anyone who aided you when you were younger, or just general knowledge that you have about the plant life. It's more heavily used as a sort of numbing agent than it is to help heal.
So would I be able to make that into a salve then?
Oh yeah,
For
I mean,
like an antiseptic salve.
yeah. I mean, you'd be able to make it into a kind of paste and a salve. You may require a few more of them, depending on how potent you want the salve to be, but it's definitely doable.
Okay, I'll give that in. Okay, and I'll put that with my herbalism kit then, just so I know.
Yeah.
Because I imagine I'd probably still have some leftover stuff just to stuff in anyway from the herbalism kit anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you've got like the little oddities that you can add to create certain things.
Just as a guess, how long would it take to make a salve? I'm assuming longer than a couple of hours.
I mean, you could get started. I mean, with a mortar and pestle, and just start grinding things together, adding a little bits of water while you're there, and grinding again. It's a process, but it can, because you've only got one bloomer, then it could potentially take 20 minutes or so, 20 to 40 minutes. Usually on bigger batches, it is hours. It is like an ordeal that goes over days and days of mixing and grinding.
That would be more like a tub.
Yeah, it's going to be like a big vial, or just like a big, almost like decanter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say 20 to 40 minutes to attempt to make a usable numbing salve.
What is it? Definitely just a numbing salve, or would it also be antiseptic as well?
On further inspection of this bloomer, you notice that it doesn't have these small sort of these small prongs that poke out of the center, and at least recalling from what you were taught years ago, the ones with the prongs are helpful with a more antiseptic treatment, and help with cleaning various wounds. But the ones that are sort of the dull bloomers that you've heard them referred to as, they're the numbing agents. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll have the food then, and I'll take that time just to break it down into.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Is there anything anyone else wants to do, or just finish your food and get over?
I'd like to sit next to Red afterwards. And so, Red. Are we still in agreement over the plan and, well, essentially you convincing your father and clan not to just attack us on sight?
Yep.
And you're definitely 100% sure you're dedicated to following
Listen,
through?
I'm not a child, okay? So, shut your mouth. We've already agreed.
Okay. I'd like to insight her earnestness into the yep part.
Okay,
The yep.
right.
Well, a natural 20, so it's a total
Nice.
of 27.
Fuck me. Okay.
Jeez.
Well,
Aye.
yeah.
I was going to read my book and get advantage, but fuck that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
Well, with a natural 20 and totaling 27, which is fucking ridiculous, but 27. She is brazen. She is very brief. You can get a sense she isn't super comfortable taking orders and being not interrogated but being questioned again and again about what she's already agreed with you to do. But she is completely honest and determined to fulfill your agreement.
Excellent. Well, I shall let you be the adult that you definitely are, but obviously, adults need reassurance between each other. And thus, I'd like to give her 10 gold from my pouch. I'd like to hand you this
Right.
as a gesture.
And what is this? What is this? You giving money to a
Stardust.
kid? What are you trying to do?
Aaron,
Pocket money.
well done. We're going to give you and your clan quite a bit more money after that.
And what do you want me to do in return? You want to do something creepy, don't you?
I just want you to keep to your what we have agreed upon. Nothing else. This is what I meant by the fact that I want to actually know bad blood between us.
You're still a little creepy though.
Is it the eyes? I
Beak.
can stare for ages. The beak.
And at that point, her hand kind of like goes down to her thigh, and you don't know whether she's like getting a little bit flustered or reaching for a blade. You don't know which, but either or, you just see her like just break eye contact and
Does Theon hear this?
everyone hears it.
Okay, whilst I'm just doing my meditative thing, you just hear a little quick snigger.
And just as you giggle, you complete the ritual. Would you like to describe to everyone what form your familiar takes?
My familiar is going to take the form of a snowy white owl.
Nice.
Mainly because of a +3 perception and it's able to see in the dark.
But we don't
Little
metagame.
human eyes can't see in the dark.
Are there any discerning features, or is it a fairly sort of traditional just white snowy owl?
Yeah, pretty traditional. There's
Okay.
nothing particularly special about this one.
All right. You all finish watching Theron just as he giggles to himself about the ongoing conversation, and you finish the end of the incantation, and all of the lines of the I'm trying to figure out what the word is. Almost like a pentagram that you've drawn around yourself.
Coming in circle.
Thank you.
Like a transmutation circle, like the
Yeah, possibly, yeah. And all of the lines of chalk just... and they all light up and run across each other. And as they do, the lines disappear and begin to coalesce right in front of you and all intertwine like threads, building this, almost like 3D printing this creature. And as all of the threads begin to latch and create this visage of an owl, right at the end, as it reaches the plateau, and the thread is severed, the threads disappear, the lines disappear, and standing in front of you, just on the ground next to you as you're sat with your legs crossed, you see a snowy white owl just look at you.
I'll just get her up. Sort of do that with my back. And I'll just like do that.
And just plants on your arm.
I'll just usher him to like get on my shoulder.
Very quickly, it just It just crawls its talons across your arm. A little bit painful in spots, catching the nails, but it does latch onto your shoulder, and it is almost very fitting.
Is the
It does seem a lot of people on this ship are obsessed with birds, though. God, I'm loving it.
fair play?
Do.
I think it's disgusting, really. Just saying.
Do
Get
you
a
want
few
to pet
years
it?
older, it'll be fun. You'll learn.
What was that, wizard boy?
You want to pet the owl? Oh shit, that sounds so wrong.
No,
Never mind.
I don't want to pet your owl. It doesn't matter how much gold you give me. I'm not petting it. Dirty fuck.
And she just like almost in a tantrum just throws a ball onto the ground, completely finished, and not to smash it, but just like wing it across the deck as it just spins.
I meant the actual owl, but
Yeah, whatever you say.
As she just stands up, stretches, and just begins to walk all the way to the bow of the deck to look off into the distance.
Oh, anyways. Raylo. How... Well, are we just trusting you and getting us access to your town, city? I don't know. Do we just walk in? Do we make announcements?
Well, a lot of people know who you are.
I would hope so. It's not, but depends on how many more people have gone there, I suppose.
How big is your town?
It's, well, not as big as Wait to Theron. Theron's town. That's for certain. It's only a riverside town, so I wouldn't expect it to be too huge, but
Is there anywhere worth going before we actually set off? Maybe anywhere like a shop, or maybe with... Because I have some food for you guys if you want some. A lot of it will go to Mogwai.
how much food do I have? Yeah, I'm just gonna pull out, sort of lift up my bag and just sort of in a very not quite sealed bag, but like properly sort of insulated. I'll sort of open it and you'll just see a bunch of rations just still in there.
Oh, okay.
out of interest, DM, like how much food have we actually still got on the boat?
Yes, Stockmaster. How much food do we have?
Yeah. Theron.
Well, Stockmaster. I think it's Bosun, right? Is the guy who takes inventory and stock. I'm pretty sure. Quartermaster. So, Theron, as the quartermaster of the vessel,
Yes.
you have made sure to check, double check, and triple check your stock, especially as you've been taking things out to help Seabiscuit with cooking. You note that you have roughly, I'd say for yourselves and the rest of the crew, you have a solid 4 days or so worth of food and fresh water.
Does Theron tell us all?
Well, it's up to Theron.
So, Quartermaster, do we need to restock whilst we're over here?
No, I'm joking. I think we have like 4 days worth of food and water left.
I have a question to DM. Is this 4
Yes.
days to feed everyone on the ship?
Yes.
Or is this 4 days for
Yes.
us?
4 days for yourselves and the rest of the crew.
Cool. No problem. We'll take 3 days worth of stuff.
We could sell it all.
Yes, unless we're planning shorter journeys, we should probably restock.
Hmm.
So, you'll be in charge of getting new supplies sent to our ship.
Who, me?
Yes.
Yes, you.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You,
No.
you
It
took this
doesn't
job.
I just wanted to study the engine. You give me this job.
Rayloff. What's the currency like here at your hometown? Is it reasonably cheap?
Consider
Well,
I imagine it's going to be a lot of meat and rations, I imagine.
Yes,
yeah,
but
it's
is he going to be using copper? Are we going to be using silver?
Rayloff,
yeah.
just as Tara asks that, you quickly think back to the parent figures in your life as you were growing up and around Guldrone, albeit when it came to trades, trading vessels, merchants, any kind of like market stalls that may have been put up temporarily. That is the only time you have seen coin leave your family's hands, and when it came to exchanges between the residents of
it's
Guldrone,
more-
it's a favor for a favor almost.
Yeah. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to assume.
Yeah, no, I just wanted just let you know, and then there's nothing conflicting. So
Well, it's unless it's trading out of the town most of the time, it's not really money for services. It's more services for services.
I get you.
And I know how much Gerald loves servicing people.
It's true, but
I'm afraid I can't be here all week, you know? We've got a job to do.
Hey, if it gets us a lot of rations and stuff, then hey, I'm all for it.
you're on. Gerald isn't the quartermaster. You are. That means these people need your services.
No, don't you mean I need to service them?
These
However
people
you do
need
it, I
your
don't really
services.
care.
Well, let's be honest, not many people like me, so...
These
Us?
Bond don't know you yet. They can hate you later.
Yeah, that's true. I'll see what I can do.
Just in case.
Hey, so what if my negotiations go south like they always do?
Then you
Yes.
let me do the talking from then on.
Or maybe
Yeah.
you do the talking before we get to that point.
No, you can start.
You know what,
Rayloff will assist.
Rayloff, on this journey, you know what? You can be in charge. You can be the ground person.
Right.
I thought that was your job.
Meta question. Well, sort of meta, but
yeah,
how far, well, how many days would it take to walk to the cave? You know which one I'm on about,
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Just so I know.
yeah. I'd say like at a sort of like a easy sort of like not rushing kind of trek, just a standard walking speed. Probably no more than 1 day away. Well, or for
I know
like
it would have
24
to be
hours.
climbing as well.
Yeah, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of like walking, rambling, and vertical climbing, from what you recall.
About a day, that's fine.
Not knowing anything about this cave, is it on the route of where we're going? Or is it nowhere near?
Only a day away.
How about if you hobbit?
You all notice that Guldrone and the shoreline is quickly approaching, and it will be with you in the next 30 minutes or so.
I would like to head down quickly, write a letter to Lord Bolin, asking could he please contact Sierra, knowing he can't read, to at least to attach some form of like carrying case or something to Little G, along with the dangerous cards that he has inside the thing.
Okay.
And yes, I've got Little G. I'll attach this right Little G, you are heading to Brenton. Back to Lord Bolin. It's your home. You should be perfectly fine getting there.
Out of interest, who's Sierra? Which one was that one?
Dwarf.
Sierra's been from
taking
Sierra
care of
Sundry
the
is now
shop,
the
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 bride.
Sundries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Before you do that, can Theron suggest to you that you talk about the dragon thing and get in touch with them as well via some kind of service to see if we can set up a shop there?
no, I was just gonna write it, have it put it in the room essentially, whilst I was by myself. Just head on up, and then was just gonna send it off.
Ah, okay.
As you walk out and after running up, you have little G just on your hands, and as he's kind of on your arm, and just as you get to the top deck, he's just there.
You ready? Now you fly safe, you beautiful bastard. And I'm gonna throw him up.
And as you throw your arm, you just hear the very, almost the resounding and happy of the crow before it.
I'd like to give him a bardic inspiration with that as well.
Do
you-
I see this?
Yes.
I see that, and I'm going to immediately look to the shoreline to make sure there's no arrows coming towards us.
Okay.
As that's flying up.
Gerald, I just want to ask, just as you cast away little G and
Because he would fly. If we're on that side, he would fly basically over the
and
land.
Raylof's eyes quickly dart to where he's going to be heading, over to the shoreline. How do you inspire little G?
That was the thing where I called him the beautiful bastard.
Okay, you notice just as that brief handout connection is made between the inspirer and the inspiree, you notice that the inspiration clicks as you see little G, just as he's flying up, he just quickly and just like a little barrel roll of delight before he levels off and continues off and heading in the same direction you are now traveling in, just a lot faster.
Yeah, I'll probably keep my eye on it until it's sort of gone out of eye shot, but then I'll just sort of take a breath.
Yeah.
Just sort of sigh a relief.
After a few moments, and you don't see any arrowheads coming your way.
Well, more towards little G than.
Yeah, you just you all just you just relax for a second, rail off. Red's down. But you approach fairly quickly. Is there anything anyone wants to do last minute before you do dock?
Also, guys, I suggest we get some winter warm clothes, because these clothes really aren't going to.
I'm just going to be pulling out my winter coats that I already have.
I just warm myself with prestidigitation constantly.
Yeah,
it
you
will
start...
be my dragon scale coat.
Yeah, awesome. You quickly pull that out of your bundle and wrap it around you, as Theron is constantly prestidigitationing himself.
Warming my clothes.
Yeah, and all of you do notice that kind of, well, all of you except for Tara notice that rush of freezing cold wind as it.
I don't feel it much.
You notice the temperature drop at least, but it doesn't bite you as much as it does others. But
I do have a question based on this.
yes.
Am I feeling it in my joints?
No.
No.
Surprisingly, not yet. Anyway.
Not yet. It's not that cold.
No. But it's
Well,
very
hot
cold.
oil. No.
From where we're approaching,
Just when you start squeaking, it's a problem.
do I see the frozen dragon there? Because I'm not sure whereabouts it would be from where we are.
From right now, no. As all of you, as the ship slowly gets closer and closer to the shore, you notice as you get there, there's no real pier or dock.
Yeah.
It's just from where the raised hillside and rocky formations are on either side of this indent, kind of making it more of like a fjord that just dips in, and this very narrow body of water that goes straight to the shoreline, and that's it. The rocky formation is completely natural for these high walls that climb up to about 60 to 80 feet on either side of this indent in the continent. But just as they get lower and lower and lower through natural formation, I'd say just about 10 feet or so off the ground, there is or off the surface of the water, there's a man-made or carved part of the rock formation where it looks like a top of a small rise in the rock that was coming from under the water has just been sheared clean off, creating a sort of makeshift dock platform for you to dock against. And you all slowly feel the ship just and creak as the waters continue to push. The Pladrine keep reeling on some ropes and beginning to slowly drop the anchor as all of you very, very slowly just begin to creep closer and closer to the small shoreline.
I would like to stand sort of onto the rail of the ship, and as we're getting there, I'm holding one of like the thick sort of ropes that you use to tie off, if there is a point to tie off. And if I see it, I will then jump. I'd like to flip over out towards onto the side, and then just immediately start like flicking it round.
Okay, right. I'll say just as you get close enough to leap off, and as you're all closing in on the shoreline, just as the ship is barely about to come to a creaking halt, you notice that you've got the rock formation sort of platform that Gerald is about to leap to, and just past that is very much a little bit of a sandy shore, quickly turning into dirt and mud and grass. You get one peek across the very small village, seeing multiple wooden beige shacks, homes and hovels, all built from the ground up, very much contrasting against the shock white snow-covered ground, as part of just little areas that through the snow of fresh brown earth that are sprouting out in areas, and just as the ship just very slowly drops, and Gerald, you catch a peek just as you dramatically flip and leap off in the air. You all see just about 100 feet or so away from this port, closer to what would be the center of the village, next to some very newly built, next to a very newly built shack made of dark oak wood and dyed hemp rope. You easily see this huge, almost structure, but you let your eyes adjust, and you see a huge dragon crouching down, almost like a cat stalking its prey, yet it's encased and frozen in ice, stopped immediately in a time of rage and defeat. But in this moment, Gerald, you latch on to details, and you don't expect much, but as you leap up and you do catch that and you understand what is there, you kind of have that small little oh fuck moment as you fall down onto the small rocky platform, and you don't find any kind of medal or any kind of post that is there to tie off, but you do see a couple loose, very heavy slabs of carved rock and boulder that are kind of like piled up, almost like imagine like seeing just empty pallets in a warehouse just stacked up on each other like that, but like fairly hefty. I'd say about 2 feet by 2 feet by 1.5 feet thick, sturdy stone slabs piled one on top of the other, that you can imagine you put the casting rope across and at least lay one atop the rope where you are tying it off.
Yeah, I'll do my best to sort of loop like a main thing around, do that sort of tie on there.
Yeah.
Also, I'll just also I'm gonna stay. Once I've gone, gonna try and just whip it round on the side, so then I can be looking around the corner to see that dragon thing and looking at it like, is it actually alive?
It's, from this point of view, because there are no structures that really climb higher, and the landscape is fairly flat or a little bit lower now, set to the sea. You do look to the shoreline, to your ship and your allies, and you do see small little sheets of ice that have formed on the water. Not so much that it's frozen over, but just sheets of ice that are kind of still floating there and just shimmer against the sunlight. But you turn to the village, and that structure, or that like the large dragon that is encased and frozen in ice, does tower over the small sets of small trees and foliage and bushes that, albeit as sparse and partly dead as they do look, they do cover a good minority of this small encampment.
So, Rayloff, is that your dad?
Rayloff's just going to be staring towards the dragon.
And
So very dead-faced and no reaction to what you said.
Yes, Theron, it is.
Ah. Family issues, eh?
Yeah, don't we all have them?
Rayloff, I've got your back, bro. If you need me for anything.
and you see the small owl on his shoulder. Gerald, immediately after turning back to your allies and seeing what's happening, just as the ship has now come to a complete stop, how you're going to back up and get out, you'll cross that bridge when you get to it, but you look
All
back.
these other concerns at the minute.
you look back to the far end of this rock shelf almost, and you see standing there is a fairly short-statured Durgar, who has like a small little hood that sort of protrudes more so and casts a little bit more of a shadow across his face against the sun. You notice the frame is smaller than that of a grown dwarf or Durgar. So, and you kind of get he's a little young and he's a little nervous, maybe new to the position, and he kind of like begins to take a couple steps towards you, but as soon as you look over, he just like stops for a second, and you see him holding like a small little like clipboard.
Hello, my
Hey.
good fellow. Can we help?
Yes, I'd like papers, please.
And he starts beginning to take a few tentative steps towards you.
We haven't seen this vessel ever, so could you please announce yourselves, your business? What was the other thing? Yeah, and your documentation papers for ownership of the vessel, please.
Ah, no worries, no worries. I will bring out the forged documents that we have that I've got for that. So, well, here is our documentation papers. The ship is called the Brine Barnacle, as you can see. The magnificent
Hang on a second.
beast.
Hang on a second. Where are your identification papers, son? How do we know you're not after a quick buck?
The kid's just gonna sort of see me look into him, and I'm just gonna go and just punt him off the side of the ship onto the shoreline.
Oh, onto the shoreline.
What kind of
Okay.
action?
Yeah. All right.
Roll to hit.
Yeah.
roll to hit.
Rolling an arm strike for me.
Okay. Okay.
And I guess I'll count it as a shove action. So yeah.
Non-natural 20.
Theron, just after you say that and you kind of have that smug face and you kind of cock your hands to your hips, you just feel your body and just get nudged.
Reactionary, I will cast Featherfall.
Okay.
And that And as I go down, you just see my finger like this.
Yeah, so as you fall off, you quickly cast Featherfall, and a sort of small cushion of light begins to just cushion you. And for the long fall of 10 feet down, you just see Theron's finger and body come down.
Okay then.
Down to the
as
shore.
he's going down slowly, I'm gonna jump off the side straight onto him.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go.
Are we playing this? Are we playing this?
Rayloff,
Okay, then.
Hey!
Okay, in a minute. Give me a second. Let me have a look at my
Rayloff,
motherfucking
you
magical spell. bitch.
hurl yourself over, and you just kind of almost just throw your feet over the side, and you just let your body, and you land with pretty much you straddle Theron's body, pushing it faster down.
Yeah.
The small 10 feet onto the shoreline, as your feet set heavily down in the sort of the snow-covered sand and dirt, and small little pebbles and rocks. You see a small crowd. A small crowd now begins to gather of dwarves and Durgar, all beginning to shuffle out of their homes. You see an array of disgustingly pale skin tones. You see the dark, ashy, almost grey skin tones of the Durgar with the slight orangey and red eyes. You see red hair, you see grey, you see brown. Just an entire mix of different dwarves and Durgar shuffling outwards. And they're all wearing fairly sturdy fur-lined coats. A simple design and fairly sort of built for purpose and not fashion. But some begin to shuffle out and create a small little crowd, only of about maybe seven creatures, are now gathered around and just watching. And you hear one voice shout over, "Rio, what's happening?" And you hear the younger Durgar, "I had documentation."
Oh yes, you can. Don't worry about them. Let's all sit out. You deal with me. Don't worry.
And you hear a couple more voices. "What are you fighting? You can't get some!" And you just hear this crowd slowly kind of begin to form and start cheering on whatever is happening with Rayloff and Theron. So Rayloff and Theron, interrupting the documentation purposes. What are you doing as Theron? You kind of you get pushed down, not too hard to hurt yourself, but hard enough just to kind of wind yourself a little bit. With Theron, with Rayloff kind of just standing over you now on the.
I've started walking forwards anyway.
Ah, you big lug. Ah.
As you.
Oh.
And just walk away. From
However, I will use telepathy, and I will say to Rayloff, jokes aside, if there is anything you need me to do, let me know.
I'll sort
I
of
can just see
stop,
the owl,
a couple of steps away, and I'll just sort of reach behind me and just offer a hand out then.
Yeah.
I'll sort
And
of
flat, and you feel as you just get pulled back up to your feet very quickly and efficiently.
I've said that. Boring.
And you hear a couple of the other crowds. "What a waste of time!" And all of them just kind of chuckle and laugh before themselves, before all of their eyes begin to cast themselves on you all. The Pladrine now exiting the ship, red. Then you hear the very ominous clacking of multiple footfalls on wood turning to stone as you begin to hear that chuckle of just between the dwarves and the Durgar and all between themselves just didn't even see him fall. And you hear those footfalls just stop. And you look behind all of you, and you do see Kurid on this stone shelf just off the ship, looking down, kind of worried, but also confident in a certain way. You do notice And you hear Rio, the small young Durgar.
And what's that with you?
I mean, she's only a ginger, for God's sake.
No, not the redhead. I'm talking about this one with more than 12 legs.
I think he's only got 8, but yeah, he's cured. Don't worry about him. He's totally harmless.
Are you sure? And just as he asks you that, you hear behind you on the stone and stop right behind you. And leaning
You're
over,
harmless, aren't you, cured?
leaning over you as you curl your head back, you see the full torso of Currid leaning past you and over your small form, leaning into the small Durgar.
Don't worry yourself. I am not here for long.
And you just hear me shout out, plus it's not him you got to worry about. It's probably me.
And at that point, like, Currid looks over and then just looks down to you, Gerald, almost like you are very much enveloped, almost like under his arachnid body.
Captain,
Yes?
thank you for allowing me to serve you.
Oh no, it's been a pleasure. Would you like anything before you do head off?
I have everything I need.
Well, I know, you don't have this, and I would like to give him the toy ship of the Brine Barnacle and say, I know we didn't get to talk too much, but at least take this to remember us by.
And as it fills up your hand, the larger hand comes down and just picks it off.
This is wonderful. I hope our paths will meet again.
Oh,
Well-
I'm sure they will.
If your plan is to go to Draconia, I'm sure we'll end up having a shop there we can always meet you at.
Then I may see you then. Farewell.
I'll sort of give him a warrior salute as he goes off.
And he nods.
I'll not turn around, but I'll just.
And Currid very quickly just begins to pass the crowd, and rather than going more to the center of the village, you see him very quickly just cut off left, away from everyone and the crowd and the homes and small hovels, and you just watch him begin to walk almost aimlessly away from the village into whatever snow-covered landscape is there.
Can I, before he does one, just use telepathy, knowing full well he won't respond. And I was like,
Or might not.
good luck, Currid. Seriously.
He doesn't respond.
Yeah.
But as the small crowd is all forming, or is formed, and kind of in shock of watching this monstrosity of a creature just wander past, and no one really taking any action to vanquish the beast, they all look back to all of you and kind of begin chatting amongst themselves. You hear a couple,
Is that all a parrot?
No, he's a crow, you fool.
and a couple others just beginning to chat about almost picking just features off of all of you,
Do I see anyone I recognize in the crowd? I'm assuming no, but
well, as the crowd is all chatting amongst themselves, a kind of a slight rabble beginning to form. Just, Ralof, you would, everyone else would kind of see this as a little bit disorganized and maybe tensions getting high. Ralof, you very much see that this is a very friendly get-together, and everyone is very happy to be together. But the harsh tones in their voices just make it sound like they want to kill each other. And just as Gerald, you are handed back the documentation papers, and Rio kind of just nods at you
and just sort of like leans in. That'll be two silver to dock for the week if you want. If you're going to be here this long.
Make it 2 weeks, and I'll give him 4 silver.
Okay, all right then. Welcome to Gold Throne.
Welcome
Thank
back,
you very
Mir.
Now, I can't believe for help. You did miss our business, which, if you wish to know, it is just, well, transport as you saw. We want to restock and diplomatic relations.
That's nothing to do with me. Just go on. And just as that chatter continues,
Did he respond to me saying that at all?
no. But between the small crowd of dwarves and Duergar, just that chatter, and you do hear some arguments slowly beginning to form, just based on different opinions on what they are, what you are, what creature is this. And Rayloff, you hear a very familiar voice shout out from the back, "Ready? Is that you?" And you see like a face like climbing up over a couple shoulders. "By my beard, it's been too long, cousin!" And kind of pushing past the crowd and coming straight up to you is a small framed, just shock red-haired dwarf. The hair itself has kind of turned into a very small, like little curly perm. And you notice he has some thick mutton chops that go down almost to like a chin beard, but completely shaven across the chin and around the mustache. So just these thick mutton chops that go to about here and then end abruptly.
I will use telepathy to Rayloff and go, "Well, he's an excitable fella, isn't he?"
And straight away, Rayloff, you recognize this as one of your cousins that you remember growing up with, Rory. As these very small and not too young, sort of I'd say round about, like, if you could guess, easily an adult.
I'm assuming.
Easily an adult, but probably just getting to the cusp.
Yeah.
And Rory just comes up and just hugs you, and he just like hugs your knee, and he just gives you a big pat on the hamstring. What are you doing here?
Visiting mostly, just to get some supplies, but...
Are you hungry? What about your friends?
We'd love some food. Let's go for it.
Is it for free, or we gotta pay?
You don't really know where you are, do you?
No.
Welcome to home. Come on, let's get some breakfast. And Rory begins to just turn and just walk straight through the crowd again.
As it goes up, I'll sort of wrap my arm around him. I'll sort of wrapping it around that, and I'll lift him up onto my shoulder.
And you lift him up. Oh, by the gods! Oh, and he kind of like half loosely like hangs off your shoulder. Do you still remember where to go to get home?
Of course I do.
Okay then. And just like kind of pats the back of your head, just a light little tap.
That's cool.
And kind of
What's your name?
Kind of holds around you. And as
What's
you
the name?
What do you mean? What's my name? I've just told you. Ray, are your friends a little bit slow?
We'll go with. They have a lot on their minds right now.
Red is very tentatively, sort of like, at this point, just behind you, Tara, and as you pass through the crowd, almost sinks into herself, and very sheepishly kind of just creeps by and through the crowd, following your path, but very, almost scared and anxious.
I'm gonna go back to her, give her like a push on the back to like, come on,
I'm going.
on.
Yeah.
come on, we're gonna fall behind.
And she very reluctantly picks up her pace.
Yeah, I'll stay behind it, but
Okay.
usher her forward as she starts to slow down.
Yeah. A couple of times she does slow down a little bit to look for a second. Unfortunately, you also catch yourself looking for a moment before she's kind of using that as an excuse to just not venture further before you just give her a nudge.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going.
I will also. Sorry, yeah, you go.
No, go.
When she speeds up, I'll look around.
Yeah.
I will stop in front of the dragon as we're going past it, and also wait for everyone to catch up.
I was going to say, like, as I'm walking, my focus is intently on the dragon, and I even whisper to my little owl, just a quick aerial scout, and I'll just grab onto Rayloff and just go, just make sure I walk in the right direction. My senses are going to be gone for a little minute.
And then you hear,
and I just walk out.
And just as soon as that owl leaves Theron's shoulder, you see Theron's eyes just glaze over to pure white.
Question. With Theron doing this, I know that he's doing it because I've done it before.
Yeah.
Am I far away from Theron?
No. As you catch up, as you catch up, you're a couple feet behind.
Okay, I'm gonna not care that Red's going slow. I'm gonna try to draw the same glasses.
Okay, roll a sleight of hand check for me.
Yeah.
What do I roll?
Nothing.
I rolled a 17.
Last time you said that Tara did feel stuff happening on her face.
Yeah,
at
you
one
could
point.
tell.
No, I was saying you didn't need to roll anything, but I was going to explain that you do feel something happening. But I just want to see how light.
I would have only rolled a 9 anyway. So
okay, Tara.
19 with the +2.
Okay, Theon, as your vision is pulled away from you and pushed into the form of the owl, and you open your eyes almost for the first time, and you squint, adjusting to the sunlight, but you are 30 feet in the air, and you can look around the entire small village, coasting around this just colossal frozen red dragon. And you do sense a feeling that there is something very, very lightly tracing your face that kind of tickles your nose a little bit. But right now you are just focused on observing all the surroundings. And actually, in fact, as you begin to make your way around the dragon
Tara,
as well,
you don't know what you have done.
as you make your way around the dragon and circling back just to get a full layout of the land, you kind of look back to yourself thinking, what's that tickling? And you do see Tara very lightly with a quill.
Oh shit, yeah, because I'm right close. I can see you with the actual owl, you bastard.
But is there anything you are looking for as you coast around the dragon?
Not anymore. Scratch her eyes out. No, I'm joking.
Break it, the clutch.
Just anything like, I don't know.
Once they've been complete, I'm gonna stop. Give the quill back to Gerald.
Just anything suspicious in the landscape, anything of note other than the dragon.
Sure, roll a perception check for me with the owl's perception.
Yes, I know.
Do you have the owl statistics?
Also,
I've already put it up.
While this is happening, is anyone doing anything else while the owl begins to coast around?
Drawing on.
I know you're drawing.
Yeah.
You're occupied.
Yeah.
I'll go be watching the drawing as this is happening.
Okay.
Yes. Good.
It's
a bit thicker there. Nice.
Yeah. Good idea.
Theron.
Blind and deaf.
So be-
Sucks. To be.
I'll just be looking over the dragon and I'll probably focus more on the area where I did manage to land a cut, where I took off some of the scales. But otherwise, I'll just sort of be taking it in for a little bit.
Yeah. Theron.
18 plus 3.
Nice. Okay, 21. You don't see anything suspicious. Anything of note. You do see the familiar tale. Well, the more familiar due to like tales and myths and bedtime stories of the large set of the mountain peaks to your currently the south.
Southwest.
From where you're facing, it'll be southwest of the giant's throne. You also see, not so distant away, you see a large mountain that is more towards the eastern side of Guldrone. Probably no more than half a day, maybe a day's travel on foot. You see this large mountain that, as it begins, as just after the sort of roots of the mountain are formed, you then notice that this mountain kind of begins to spiral and twirl all the way up to the top, and you see the high mountain peak looks a little duller than the other snow-topped mountain peaks from the Giant's Throne, almost as if because you got such a high perception, it almost looks like towards the peak of this one mountain that stands alone, there is almost like a cutout near the very peak. Almost as if you'd be able to go and stand inside the peak of the mountain, near enough. But that's just what you can ascertain from this far away. Apart from that, you see the gorgeous snow-covered landscape of Yolduheim, far away into the distance, just leading to glistens of white that shimmer across the sunlight, and it's nostalgic, and you feel after the tickling to your face, you feel a warmth in your stomach of just being home again.
Don't worry, it won't last for long.
Oh no, but for now, it's nice, please.
No, when I walk back out.
Yeah. And the vision comes back.
Once I get that feeling that he's going to come back into it, I'm going to throw Gerald the quill back. And then walk like nothing happened.
And because it's quite briefly after, I'm just going to do that and just have a look at my finger.
It is solid black, wet, smudged ink on your fingers.
Terror, you're going to pay for this.
What? I didn't do nothing.
I'm pretty sure Gerald would just be laughing at me and being honest with me, but you know.
Why don't you just clean that off, though? You could.
Well, yeah, I'm going to
literally-
clean it at some point.
Gerald.
Going to have a wash.
Sorry, I'll be like,
Yep.
yes,
You
no,
can, like-
we did nothing as I wipe the quill on my feathers. I'm not even attempting to hide it.
Can you not just clean it with that magic you do?
Oh, good call. Prestidigitation.
Yeah, and you see all the clothes just ruffle down, and at the top, you see his hair is like instantly back to its normal place, and his skin is just completely clean and pristine, and continuing that very spoiled pretty boy look that he has
I'm
about
going
himself.
to scoop some snow, make it into a snowball ball, because obviously I can't make enough, I can't crush it. just pat it down and hope that it stays still. And throw it at the back of Theron's head.
Okay. roll the range attack for me. I'll say improvise.
Am I in range? Am I within 5 feet of Theron?
Yeah.
It would go to me then, wouldn't it?
Real off.
Great.
Cool.
Projectile. So what was the roll?
I rolled a 9, but do you say
Plus
something
dex.
about
Because it's
plus
just an
dex.
improvised weapon.
2, 11? It's 11.
It's a range attack, so it would go to me.
Fair point.
Though 11 would not hit me.
No. I don't think it needs to hit you, does it, to be attracted to you?
No, it just goes to me anyway.
Yeah. As you pack it, and you just see Theron
They
just
did
very
pretty
smugly
well.
looking away
Yeah.
up to the dragon, all clean and pristine, and you just fucking pitch it to him. Just
Yeah.
You're only throwing about 7 or so, 10 feet away, so it's so
Yeah.
close distance that near enough, as soon as it leaves your hand, it's hitting the back of his head. And just as you fucking just go to nail it, it just goes and it just quickly just darts off. And
Does my passive perception notice this?
oh, you'd
behind
you'd easily hear just to the side of you, just a against Railof's back.
I'll just turn round and I'll be like, Terror, did you just chuck a snowball?
It came from behind me.
You see red just behind you. No, it wasn't me.
It came from behind me.
And as Terror's doing that, I'll just cast Mage Hand, just a few feet, sort of behind her, but not where she's looking behind, and scrape up a massive amount of snow and just
drop it.
Okay.
Just drop it on her.
I'll say Terror roll a dex save with disadvantage for me.
Okay.
What a bunch of children.
It's not too bad. Dex save, 12.
12. You get out of the way of most of the shovel, but you do get a good handful of snow that gets on your head and down the back of your neck and down the front into your breastplate. And you feel that like instant cold as you dart and you shiver, and it catches you off guard just for that moment. And just at that point, Rayloff, Rory just taps the back of your head again, and he goes, and you're just watching all of this. You know, Ray, all of your friends, I mean, they're a bunch of children.
Yeah.
But
I'm used to it.
how
And
about
as this is happening, you just see the hand just be like out the snow.
and
I'm plotting my plan, waiting for for Rayloff to be away, 5 foot away from me.
and just after that, just after the mage hand just raises to flip the bird, Rory just looks at you, Rayloff, on your shoulder. Okay, so how about some breakfast and also we can go see Pop Pop. Come on, you know the way. And he just like taps on the back of your head.
Yeah,
I'm
Theron,
going
let's
to
go
assume that Pop is Yarborg, possibly, or is that someone else?
You'll soon find out.
I'll tell you at the break.
Okay.
So, are we going to see Pop Pops or what?
Well, so with Rory kind of attentively kind of pushing Rayloff's head slightly while he's on his shoulder, you do notice that Rayloff, you do begin to walk almost directed, not like a beast of burden, but close enough too. And all of you kind of in agreement and not wanting to get separated too quickly, you begin to shuffle with Rayloff just behind him, passing that small crowd that had just broken up and beginning to pass by you or just stop and watch you from a ways away. And you begin to start walking throughout the small village of Galdrone, following Rory and Rayloff to go and see Pop Pop. And
If Theron does get a 5 foot distance away from another snowball is going to hit Theron.
okay.
Or attempt to.
just as you begin to cup up the snow silently and surely,
Yeah, yeah.
like a
Stick your hand
stalker
back.
just watching
Yeah,
its
yeah.
prey, forming it,
So I'm gonna get this bastard.
and just as you're preparing to throw, and you just whip it, that's where we're going to go away and take a little break. And I'm very excited to come back and enjoy the rest of
More of a
Goldrome.
snowball fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, get the cliche of the snow. Oh, we got snow for the
Well,
first time in our
snow,
lives.
yeah.
Let's play with the snow. Once we get that out of the way, then yeah, we can all enjoy Goldrome, and you guys will stop being fucking babies and children.
I just want to say I've never seen the snow.
No, in
So-
all fairness, for
Yeah, that's fair.
yes,
Yeah.
Terry, you
Yeah.
are mesmerized by
Yeah,
handling
that's
this,
why I'm
and yeah,
so happy.
yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't seen ink before.
That's why I'm aiming at you, Theron.
If you've
I'm
never
more
seen
annoyed
snow
it went to
before, how
Rayon,
do you know to make a snowball?
Because I guessed.
It just comes
Like-
naturally. Just starts packing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I do it with dirt.
you do it with
Leaves.
shit. Just shit and mud.
Ah, cool.
Don't do that anymore. But anyway, to everyone who's stuck around through this shit show and been enjoying it, thank you. We're glad you're here and watching. We're going to take a short break now to go get some snackies and use the bathroom. So if you need to, go do the same. And we'll see you back in just a short while. and welcome back. As we come back into the game, the party has just gone into Raylof's home of Goldrone, a far northern set village in Yolduheim, hopefully to prepare for your trip either on foot or horseback or by whatever means to Geralf in the near future, to attempt to catch Pike off guard and, well, figure out what to do from there. But as you all enter Goldrone, you notice the very small rustic shoreline village just coated in snow. Little parts of earth sticking out where you see some small vegetables being grown. You look across the small village and you find the colossal dragon form that is encased, frozen in ice. And just after the small commotion and Kurid going on his way, a small younger dwarf runs up to Raylof, calling him cousin, and innately beginning to lead you while astride Raylof's shoulder to whatever home is inside Goldrone. And just as we come back in, Terra, your eyes are locked.
Yeah.
You're cocked, glocked, and ready to rock, and you whip the snowball.
Yeah.
So roll that range attack for me.
Pretty trash. It's dexterity +2, 8.
Does an 8 hit, Theron?
I don't know what we're rolling against.
Nothing.
Sure.
What's your AC?
Drama.
11.
Okay. Theron, as you're walking, just a good few feet behind Raylof and Rory, as you can hear them muttering a little bit between each other, and Rory pointing and kind of like moving his head to direct him a little bit. You just hear past your ear, and you look in front, like to the side, and then quickly follow it in front of you, and it just a thick, large snowball just impacts on the ground in front of you. And what do you do?
Let's carry on walking. I'm just like,
Terra,
I'll go over a grin.
yeah, Terra, as you're kind of annoyed with yourself.
Yeah.
But what's even more annoying is just the nonchalant bird that Theron flips to you before he keeps walking without even looking back. And you hear just behind you.
Push. Into the snow.
And you hear that little snicker, and you just... and you see Red just into a small mound of snow pulling off, and you see snow dripping from her red hair and in her mouth and in her nose and eyes.
While she's on the floor, like crouching down, so really low down to try to imitate exactly what she's just trying to and then carry on walking.
And just as you walk away, you just hear her mumble under her breath, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking cut you," as she stands up and continues sheepishly behind. As you all go through, Rory says loudly to you, Raylof, but also kind of announcing just so people in the back can hear. "So, while you're here, do any of you need anything, and you need to know where you're going or what to look out for?"
What to look out for is a good one.
Well, we don't really have that many places around. I mean, there's a really good place for just little knickknacks. It's called the Tack Shack. And then, if you want to go somewhere for breakfast, or even a second breakfast, or even 11sies, if that's your kind of deal, you can go to the Broad Shack. Then, if you need any clothes made or anything readjusting, especially with fur and hides, you just go to the Hide Shack. And then, if you do want to talk to anyone outside of here and far, far away, if you have any friends looking at all of you, then maybe that's a little bit far-fetched. But if you need to send any kind of letters, across Valdur, then we have the Parchment Shack, which is our kind of like village postal service, kind of.
Is it a good postal service? If I were to want to send anything to Graldi, how long do you think it would take?
Oh, I don't know.
Awesome.
I've never sent anything to any friends outside of here.
Oh, okay.
Technically, I don't really have any friends outside of here.
Well, you've got us now. If you're a friend to Rayloff, you're
Well,
a friend to us. I know you're.
we're family.
Well, we're not your family, but
No,
we're
you're
very
not.
close friends to Rayloff.
But Ray is definitely my family, so. Sure, yeah, I've got some new friends. Yay! Woohoo! I'm so happy. This is an amazing day.
So Rory, is everybody in this family either really tall or really short at this rate?
I don't get your question.
I mean, there seems to be a bit of a size difference.
Oh, Ray, got ya. Not really any variety, no. We're all dwarves.
Of course, I'm not particularly tall myself. I can't really.
No,
say
you're
much.
absolutely minuscule.
Well, no need to nail it in. Okay.
But your feathers look really lovely. So that's something to take home.
See, at least somebody has taste, Rayla. But you know, they keep me warm in this snowy, I don't know, landscape.
Well, you know, everything has their uses at times.
Well, I'm sure some of us could definitely do with some more warmer clothes. We could
I second
probably.
Right,
Is
well, you can all sort that out after we go and see Pop Pop, because it's been a long time, Ray.
Yeah.
It's been really long.
I really can't wait to meet Pop Pops.
Oh, well, just make sure you don't call him that, because he only really likes it from family, and he can be a little, you know... Anyway, just take a left, just on this side. And,
What's Pop Pop's actual name?
And Rayloff Rory just keeps on pointing and mumbling to Rayloff, just directing him through the small village. Kind of just ignoring your question entirely. Or maybe not just ignoring, but just so immersed in directing. However, along the small journey of the very quaint village and Rayloff, there are certain shacks and homes that you look at and you instantly get that nostalgic kick, and you feel the memories flooding back, and just you remember you and your cousins playing just over there, and you just look over to the right, and that's where you ended up arguing with one of the merchants because you thought they stole something from you, but it was one of your cousins instead that blamed the merchant. So many memories just start flooding in from childhood, and just as you're about to pass through the sort of main, I guess there's no real market, but just like small gathering area near the center of the village, and you begin to take these offshoots of like small streets. Even though there's not much in the way of streets and like a plethora of places to go, but you begin to just wind around some of the shacks and the homes, and you hear another familiar voice just around the corner of a small little quaint like one of the shacks, and as you pass, you get about 2 steps away from that shack, and you hear the very soft voice. And where do you think you're going?
Is it behind me or
Yeah, just behind you.
what? Sort of turn around, just sort of very gingerly.
and as you do, and you kind of straighten your posture up a little bit and turn and swivel on your heels, you are met with the small, curvy but stout-shouldered dwarven lady that you know very, very well. As you notice, yeah, you notice your grandmother's once auburn and red hair has now gone like a grey white with just shots of brown in there now, as she has it all braided down that hangs just below her chest across one shoulder. She's all bundled up with a small hood over, and she just looks up at you. My, it has been a long time.
I'll put Rory down, and I'll just sort of get on one knee and just sort of put my head to her forehead.
And she leans in and like cups around your head. All of you notice the size difference is so apparent in this moment. Rory is small, but seeing the small elderly dwarven woman hand try and like grip around the back of Raylof's huge dome in comparison it just puts it into perspective of the size difference. And she just like sort of lowly says to you, Raylof, you know, we've really missed you all this time.
Yeah, I've definitely missed kind of being here again.
Well, by the gods, you're all back now.
Yeah.
I just need to go get a few things, and then I'll be back and sort out some of your favourite stew. And you see her like kind of pull her head away. I am so sorry. Are these your friends?
Immediately cut in. Gerald, nice to meet you.
Well, enthusiastic.
I will look over, just the shoulder, just glaring at him.
Rayleigh doesn't tell me much about the family, but I'm hoping you'll fill in all the details.
And she kind of gives you, she kind of gives you a weird look of just thinking, is he hitting on me? And then she just kind of like blushes a little bit, and I'm sure we'll all have a really good chat.
Yes, a very good chat.
I just nod.
Well, what's your names?
My name is Theron. I come from a town called Girolf.
Aye.
I'm Tara Hodroff.
Well,
I'll kind of embrace her hand.
Well, all of you are so friendly. Oh, Ray, I'm so glad that you finally found some good friends to stick by you.
Yeah,
Very...
ones that won't sell me out. Much sort of look to Rory.
And you just see Rory just. And she unclasps your hand, Tara, after like a sort of like a small like grandma rub and pat as she pulls away. Well, it is absolutely lovely to meet all of you. My name is Jalen, and I am so happy to see some of my little boy's friends. Anyway, I have just a few things to pick up, and then when I get back I'm going to make a stew, so you all go home, and I'll be there in just a moment.
It was wonderful to meet you.
And all of you. Anyway, I'll see you in a few. And she turns.
This is grandma? What did you say?
Yes. Well, at least she... Okay, so Raylof obviously knows it's his grandmother. Yeah. But for all of you, it is a... She is a elderly, stout, but curvy-esque dwarvish lady with the sort of like grey and white hair, but with shocks of brown, maybe slight reddish brown in there, but very, very much a grandmother figure that you can give off. Like her whole personality screams, you know, visit over at Grandma's house. And Rayloff, as Jalen heads back into the market area, if there is such a thing throughout the small village, as she goes and continues her shopping of goods, you turn around and you just see Rory standing there.
Is this what you're going to do all the time? You know, I was really comfortable, and I mean, did I say something wrong? Because I feel if I did say something wrong, I mean, you should have just told me. You always used to tell me. Usually you told me, shut up, Rory, but that's not the point.
Pretty sure I made it very clear what the issue was when I chased you around the village with an axe.
It was equally terrifying, and I said I wouldn't do it again.
And then you did it again.
You know, let's just leave. Let's bygones be bygones. Let's go get some breakfast. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, this way.
And he continues to shuffle all of you. Yeah, and Red, you see Red is just kind of like looking back over his shoulder towards the or turns and watches Jalen walk away.
Yeah.
And very quietly, as everyone else begins to move in front of you, you just hear Red as her back's to you and she's facing Jalen, way easily about 15 feet away by now, and you just hear her go, "Hello." And she kind of just sheepishly turns back to you and not really looking at you, more to the ground, and just starts walking.
Yeah, with me being able to hear that, I won't usher her like I did before and go, come on.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
she heard you.
And she just looks at you with a curious look.
Whatever, I didn't say anything. Shut up.
Come on then.
I'm going. Stop fucking pushing me. I'll fucking cut you.
You're slow. I can't help it, but...
You just nudge her. And after a few huffs and puffs, she finally gets the gist and you continue walking.
Cool.
You all approach, with Rory's leadership skills, you all approach not a very sizable hovel, but a little larger than the others that you've passed. A lot of these homes are very compact, they're all handmade, not tacky, but just, you can tell each home has been built by someone different. Almost like a sense of, you want a home, you'll build it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's all made of different bits of wood, albeit you've seen shacks of driftwood before, but these homes, albeit you can tell they are from older wood and repurposed timber, the carpentry overall is really impressive. Nothing, artisanal about it, but just from the material used, it is very impressive with what people have done with these structures.
I have a question and then a follow-up question depending on the answer.
Yes.
Do all these look like the same? Like the materials that are used and the design that they've done it in look the same?
No, they all have the same sort of essence, but and same materials, but no home is ever exactly the same.
Okay.
They're either wider, taller, shorter, different. You can tell different configurations inside the home, where the windows are, the door is, loads of just completely custom.
And from a follow-up question from that question was, could I surmise that what they've done is they've traded service for service from the hide shack?
Potentially.
Okay,
Potentially.
that's cool.
Yeah, there's some. I guess with you looking around, there is an essence where you may assume that one singular person has aided others in building their home, or at least supervised, or consulted with them. I guess. At least that's the very least you can get from how different and unique, but it's kind of similar. Some of these homes are in placement, and
it's a very local town.
Yes, very much so.
That's cool. Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, easily.
Cool.
But you come up to this small structure, and the structure itself is probably it's a very short, I guess one-story. One-story place. So not a bungalow, but just at least one upstairs to it. You notice the open windows. They just have these sort of wooden shutters that are open externally. You don't really see much through the windows right now as you're walking up, but you do see a little bit of candlelight in there. It's pretty dim, and you notice that the doorway is very much dwarven sized. The doorway itself comes up to about just barely touching 5 feet from ground to the top. And as Rory just about to go through the door, and then turns around. Well, come on. What are you waiting for? Come on, everyone, let's get in. Let's get some food. Let's get some drinks. There you go. And you see...
I could do like a very tiny duck to get in.
Yeah, you just shuffle down slightly. Rayloff, straight away, as people begin to either begin to pass through, or they begin to start thinking physically, how is this possible for me to get through the door? You remember that just around the back of the house, there is a custom, larger doorway made for you as you grew up. And when you get around the back, you see at the door frame, you notice the little lines in the sides of the door frame where it has constantly had to been taken away and more material added and added and added.
You can just sort of see like line, sort of line material.
Just over and over. And again, it brings back those memories and nostalgia, and you still duck a little bit, but you are able to get in the house and just come in through the kitchen, and you find yourself in the living room as everyone else comes in. Is there anyone doing anything particularly before they enter the home, or as they enter, or anything
just
in particular?
Keeping an eye on Red mostly.
Okay. You notice that Red, as soon as Gel goes through, Red actually sort of nudges past you and goes in.
Okay. I will take it as long as she's not trying to steal anything, I won't take any action towards it. If it looks like, because obviously we're here as a guest.
Yeah.
If she does anything non-guest like, that's when I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I'll take it as she's relaying by the rules.
I'll send the owl to the master of the ship.
Alright. And you just see the owl look to you, almost like turning its entire head to you. It just flies off towards the ship. Just as all of you do trail in, Rayloff, you meet everyone as they all funnel in, and you all come into a very I wouldn't say too small. It's a nice and cozy. It's a nice and cozy living space. You notice it's dim but lit with candles. You see a small charcoal and dust-covered fireplace set to the far wall. you notice across the hardwood floors there's a really just gorgeous, like pretty much almost like a dire bear skin rug. And Rayloff, as your eyes adjust to the candlelit, dim interior of this cozy, and I will point out, even though you only see a few candles lit, lighting through a doorway and in this living room and throughout the home, Theron and Gerald, you instantly feel warmer. And a nice cozy heat too, the same as Terra, like a nice... You'll just feel that the biting cold just wisp away as soon as you enter the home. Again, almost as if you go to your grandparents' house and they've left the fireplace or the heating on for like 3 days straight. That kind of nice, warm heat that you need to settle to get used to. But as all of your eyes adjust, Rayloff, you look to that familiar corner, a little bit dimmer, but still partially lit by candlelight. And you see Pop is there in his favourite chair, just pretty much set in his old age and smoking a big sturdy hand-carved pipe, thick plumes of smoke leaving the wide bowl. And the one thing you do notice that's new in this moment, you notice that there's a set of 2 large wheels affixed to either side of his favourite chair with a blanket across his lap. And you hear the very resonant voice, filling you again with nostalgia and a little bit of memories. You just hear,
"You've grown taller and wider since I last set my gaze upon you. What do you say, boy?"
I eat my meals fully.
Now come give your Pop a kiss on the hog. Come on, Malin. I've missed you breaking my old bones.
and he just holds his arms wide open to you.
Oh, I thought he was pulling me in.
Oh yeah, no, Andy does pull you in, like just straight, just on whatever gloves, and just pulls you into him. Again, your eyes catch some of the pipe smoke, and you just kind of blink a little bit, insensitive, as he pulls you into a big, sturdy hug. His arms barely reaching around your back, but you feel your back and your ribs just that innate, just old man strength, even more so than when you were younger. Squeeze in. For the rest of you, as the hug is broken away, you see this extremely thick, broad-shouldered, older dwarf with like a very thin grey widow's peak of thinning hair that as it extends and opens back toward the back, still not really a full head of hair on the back, still all thinning, but doing what he can to kind of make a very, I guess, kind of puny or a little bit embarrassing kind of braid at the back that goes for about 5 or 6 inches or so. But you see upon his face one of the puffiest, largest, just most wild grey and black beard. The mustache itself pushing out easily about 4 inches away from his face. The beard itself thick and curly and unkempt, but still somewhat attractive in a sense, as the beard itself just fills out near enough, filling his entire chest and going down to just, I'd say easily, just barely above his belly button. And you do see his face is a little gaunt but still sturdy with a very square jaw and very small little beady brown eyes. Thick, now completely white and grey eyebrows that just jut out almost like maniacally in a sense. You see his the tone of his skin is very pale, a few liver spots and a couple warts and moles across his face. You can take one look at this guy and you can see that he's worked his entire life. Like that kind of face of just, he's seen shit, he's done shit. And just in that moment though, you see that big, partially toothy smile through the thick mustache and the beard that pushes out just grow wide, and that almost like intimidating face that was set before with his pipe has now all gone. Any shadows of fear have left all of you as the warm smile warms all of your hearts slightly as him and Rayloff give a big hug. And just as they do, you notice that Jalen comes in through the door and begins to put things on the table and takes things through to the other room, and begins preparing some food. And just as they let go of the hug, and Pop just gives you a massive like thud on the back. So, how's it all been? And just like gives you a crack on the back. We haven't seen you around for... How long's it been now? Don't worry, I have the answer. Too long. Too long since you've seen Pop. Now, I see all of you.
Hi.
And so, what are you? Are you Malon's friends? Or entourage, or...
We're indeed Malon's friends.
And he straight away turns back to Rayloff, like catching what he just said. Listen, Malon, I don't mean to embarrass you in front of your friends, but... And he turns to the rest of you. Okay, so it's a little nickname that we just came up with. Look at his head. Look at that huge thing. It's just magnificent compared to all of ours, so... Yeah. Well, I mean, that and what he always used to leave in the outhouse, if, on occasion, if you can I catch him adrift.
Hey, I'm with you.
It's absolutely humongous. But anyway, so what are you? The entourage? Are you his friends, traveling companions? What are you doing in Goldjawn?
All three, really, I
travelling
feel.
companions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, well, you better line up, and it's time for pop hug time.
Oh, we love hugs. Hey.
You-
Go for it.
You lean in.
Not for long.
You lean into his chair, and he just gives one quick hug, and you instantly feel your rib, well, at least one rib, just pop out of place for a second. And he just squeezes slightly, gives you a pat on the back, and like that pat almost pushing you aside for the next one to come.
Yeah, I'll go in.
And same thing, except for you just feel like a weird tightness around your metal shell.
What one?
You feel the warmth coming from his body, and it's very... In this moment, it genuinely does, just for a second, make you remember how it felt with your human flesh in your form, how warm and cozy that was.
Yeah.
To what it is
kinda
now.
Giving me warm goosebumps.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And he gives the boom against
How
your
the
back.
fucking way.
Are you coming in for a hug as well?
Yeah, but it's gonna hurt. I'm fragile.
Malon, where did you find this one? And he just gives like a very gentle hug and give a little pat on your head. He's so fragile and just, oh look, he's so dainty.
It was that twig factory, wasn't it? Can't remember.
Yeah.
Good on, Gerald.
You
Where
hear,
did we find you? Feather factory?
Oh, shh.
You hear,
That was just before the tar factory, I remember.
Yeah, where they made pillows? Yeah.
You hear Jalen just like as she peeks her head in. Now remember, come on now, no roughhousing while you're here, okay? I'll get some tea and I'll get some ale ready. Are all of you ready for some grog stew and freshly made bread?
I couldn't think of anything better. Thank you.
Okay, well, play nicely, all of you.
And you can see she's just staring at the older dwarf, and everyone like,
I'll just be like, we can't promise anything.
and you just hear her go,
Oh, you and your charming nature.
and she just like moses on like back into the other room, and straight away, just as you smile and then you look back to the room, you see the old dwarf staring at you in the most serious look.
I'm gonna kill you.
I'll use telepathy and just be like, I didn't mean it like that, sir. Only a joke.
And he just has one big puff on his pipe, and the smoke just bellows out of his mouth and across his beard and into the air above. And he just looks at you.
You know, if you wanted to try and have a little nail on the wife, well, then you're gonna have to ask her, but I'd be really scared of what will happen to you. Little dainty girls like you aren't really her thing, but you can always ask if really politely.
I'll keep that in mind, sir. Thanks.
Rayloffers just openly laughing at that.
Now, it would be a little bit more polite if I was to introduce myself to all of your friends, Melon.
Well, just as he started to speak, I will hold out a pouch to him, and it will be the pouch of wild weed.
And as he takes it,
Well, it's about time I got that back.
and just puts it under his blanket.
Yeah.
Thank you for grabbing that for me. So,
I know you always struggle to get some more stock off of it.
well, listen, I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere covered in snow. Where are you going to find good pondweed? Exactly. Answer my question. Nowhere.
Pond.
And we don't have a pond close by. So, thank you.
Yeah.
To all of you, all of Melon's friends, nice to meet you. My name is Drimbar Binglestout. And you are very much welcome to my home. As long as Melon likes you. Until if he decides that he doesn't like you at one point, then you get out or you're dead.
I might as well sit by the door. He's very temperamental.
You should have seen him when he was younger. That was an absolute nightmare. No chance you'd be. There were times I even tied him to one of the posts in the garden out back. The thing is, I went through more wooden beams than I did rope.
You'll have to tell us about these stories over that stew.
Maybe. I'll see if the wife wants to sit next to the little girl.
And at this point, Red just goes,
Are you calling me little? I'm not little.
and straight away, Drimbar just goes,
I was talking about the other little girl.
He's on about me.
Yeah.
and you hear Red at that point.
Yeah, you are little.
So,
Cheers.
what brings you back home, my lad? Are all of you looking to join the skirmish?
Skirmish?
Oh, it's a little group. The other lad, Brom, he has set his sights on getting into the skirmish lately, and you know what he's always been like. Soon as he sets his mind to one thing, he goes and does it, fails, fucks up, and comes home, cries for a second, and then he wants to go and do another thing.
What's this skirmish?
It's a delight. Honestly, it's a delightful group of mercenaries. Just all of them built on of old kin here. We have some Goliaths, dwarves, and Durgar looking to defend this place, while also shipping off different goods, and all the coin raised will go back into the community. The main thing we have to support right now is Lorraine's home. Too many wee little kids with no one to guide them. Melon, you know Auntie Lorraine?
Yeah.
You know the crazy bat with the wild hair?
She didn't have more.
No,
she?
no, but she's still alive. And in doing so, because she couldn't really find anyone after, after he and all of the rest of them just left because she was getting a little bit too fucking nuts, she decided rather than trying to hound everyone together to actually, you know, keep on impregnating her and just breeding. She decided instead to just adopt and take in any stray, you know, orphans. And it is, you know, we got all nicely set up now. It is a really nice orphanage. So, you know, but the thing is though, it's a small place. It's crowded. There's a lot of wee little babbies that have nowhere to go. But from all the coin that we've been getting in from the skirmish, it has changed so many lives in Goldron, and it's so nice to see. I hope none of you are actually looking to come here and stop what we've got going here. You don't want to impede your ways of living on us.
Why would we want to do that? It seems like it's very good.
Listen, it's not out of any distrust for any of you. You're Malin's friends, so you're okay with me. But it's just we've had people before that want to come to us and preach a new way of life, and then if we say no, then they usually get just a wee bit antsy, and they end up dead. And I have to say, it's too much work constantly. Do you know how many graves that we've got? Do you know how many graves we've had to dig over the past
5
decade?
5.
I'm assuming a lot.
A lot more than 5.
Hundreds.
And plenty where that came from.
No, we're not planning on doing anything.
Well, that is a relief.
What's bigger, this town or the graveyard then?
I'd say it's nearly 50-50, but we've definitely got the graveyard very nicely orientated, very compact, but you know, with that personal care and that love that's still there. You know, respectful.
Even for the assholes that don't want your help?
Oh no, we burned them.
Fair enough. Oh wait, did the Pladrines join as well for all this?
No, they stayed on the ship.
Fair enough. Because you said they came off, I can't remember where they went.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just came off onto the stone shelf, but they didn't really like continue on after that.
Yeah. Because I had like the very worrying thought of, oh god, what if Seabiscuit comes out? It's like,
She will look there.
So what brings you home?
well, partly because we're trying to, let's say, be discreet about coming back. But there's some things we need to sort out, and I thought...
Listen, boy. You know that these walls are always watching. But the walls inside this home are very friendly, and they'll always listen. What are you doing back? Not that I don't want to see you. You know me and Jalen have missed you greatly. So has Rory to a degree. And, well, Brom not so much, but he still missed you.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll find something else to throw at me to miss again.
Well, probably, but he's been so busy lately trying to do one thing, and then his apparent life's calling. The gods have come down to him, and he has to go and do this, and then that fails, and then he has to go and take another path through life, and it's exhausting. I am way too old to deal with the crying I thought you were bad when you were younger for your tantrums. Do you remember when you used to get that angry that you would just cry?
Was it like he used to rage out, but then he was just like...
No, he would scream, and then if you try and comfort him, he'd headbutt you, and that melon, that packed a punch even from a young age.
Yeah, I still remember putting a hole through the side of the wall and bringing everything down through it.
It was such an
No
eventful
change
day.
there then.
Oh, is he still up to that?
Apart from he hits other things.
Oh, well, I'm proud of you, as long as it's not my home again. So, what matters have all of you got in Goldron?
Well, mine's not actually in Guldrone. It's kind of towards.
Kind towards where?
Girolf.
Oh, Girolf. Oh, okay, yeah, just down the ways away. You're not going... None of you are actually going back to that place.
Yeah.
You know, just a bit of sightseeing.
Yeah, good luck.
Why would we need luck?
Just go sightseeing and you'll find out.
Who needs luck when you've got time?
Time.
Otherwise,
Time.
awesome.
What?
We're accompanying Melon here in stopping world evil that is apparently going to destroy the world. You know, he's becoming a bit of a hero around the place.
Really?
Really?
Indeed.
Oh. Well, that makes Pop really warm inside. And really proud.
I'm also trying to find this blasted Kopara that screwed us over. I don't know.
I don't know what that is, but I'm very proud of all of you. You seem like decent creatures with decent morals. Just don't...
Yeah, that's me.
Listen, especially you, little girl. Do not steer my melon into evil. Do you understand me?
I'm pretty sure your little melon will smash evil in the face.
Do not make him do bad things. We brought him up better than that.
I
He
understand, sir.
does do things like that very well.
Good. Then it means we brought him up extremely right.
Who taught him to throw axes at things that he doesn't like?
Well, from an early age, I mean, I trained him.
You trained him well. He's
his-
got a good aim.
Well, I started off, but then his father trained him for a little while, and then by the time that it was up to me, then he already knew what he was doing. And in all fairness, at that point when he was a little bit more grown up, it was better just to say no, I'm not training with you again, because I'd be the one with broken bones by the end.
Well, what can I say? You're a good teacher.
No, just listen. All of you, just take a seat. Come on. Melon, could you go just bring the table out of the other room? Just bring it in here for me, please.
Yeah, sure. I'll just sort of as I'm going past, I'll just sort of pat him on the back, just sort of, not too rough.
And he does pat your hand as well, firmly, but not angrily.
Is there enough chairs for us all to sit down?
Just at that point, Rayloff, as you drag the table in, you do grab some of the other stools and small chairs and objects that you can use. Oh, mainly all stools. There are a couple of ones where it was like an old glory boxes that have like just a small cushion on them. Kind of like almost like a wood, just I guess like a wooden ottoman that you can open up with storage in, but otherwise you can sit on it as like a little stool. And you pull a few different stools and glory boxes that are full of
treasures and knickknacks into the living room, set it all around the table for everyone to sit down. And just as all of you sit down, you begin to hear Jalen just finishing up with the stew. And as she brings in this like large sort of cauldron almost of hot lobbying stew, she sets it down in the center. And just as Rayloff, you're sitting down, you hear the very, very noticeable just of the stool just creak and partly break under you, not to fall completely, but just slightly. And at that point, Jalen, as she's setting out all the wooden bowls to all of you, leaving one extra bowl in a unoccupied space, Jalen just looks at you.
Oh, Rayloff, it is so nice to just have you in here again. You always make the furniture creak with happiness. You remind me so much of your father. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Rory straight away shoots up with, like, as he gets a ladle and just dollops some stew into his bowl.
Ray, why don't you come and join the skirmish? Even all of you could. I'm going to be the, not to brag or anything, but I'm going to enroll, and I'm going to be the captain someday. So you will be looked upon greatly by your superior.
I'm not really a fighter, so
Why?
because I have magic.
His
Oh.
arms are too weak swing a sword, that's why.
Aye, okay. I've seen plenty of them. That's okay. Usually, well, we usually put those people in charge of, protecting some of the women and children and older people. Mainly because you can, run away really, really fast. The skirmish have spaces for everybody.
It's fine. I'll stay out the way.
Okay.
But it's a
I
good
have
thing
bigger
to
things to
have
think
an
about.
idea.
Huh?
How often do you do these skirmishings?
Well, I mean, I don't really know. I haven't enrolled yet.
Ah, I see.
But
But you've got a clear ambition of what you want.
oh, aye.
It's fantastic.
I'll be Captain Rory someday.
You will be.
I will.
Well, Gerald here, our Kenku, he's a captain right now.
Oh, aye.
I can give you pointers on how to lead these lot.
I would be very appreciative of any advice you can give me. So when Rory Binglestout, captain of the skirmish, emerges onto the battlefield, just great sword in hand, I'll actually know what to do.
And Rayloff, in that moment, you see a figure that is very close to the size and shape of Pop Pop, but a lot younger, squeezed through the front door with the dark brown braided beard, all adorned with like different silver and gold clasps. The sort of like the tied back brown and just completely filthy dreadlocks that hang just freely across his back. And you hear the very familiar voice as Braum walks through the door and kind of just gives you a squeeze on the shoulder as he comes by the side of you. But as he's looking at Rory, he just looks down as he throws his pack down to the corner.
The Stormbringer shall strike me down the day you become captain, brother. There's more of a chance that Ray would be able to fit in your garbs any time after his 12th name day. And just gives him a punch in the shoulder. And you all see this very, albeit he's probably one of the taller set dwarves, going up to about 5.5 feet or so. And he sits down and his arms are just immensely thick like tree trunks, and his shoulders are sturdy like walls as he sits down in the small stool that mirroring the bowl that was empty that Jalen left open. And he just very nonchalantly leans back. It's good to see you, my baby cousin. You've gotten wider since you left in the middle of the night. I take it someone special is treating you well and filling that belly.
Well, I definitely can take care of myself. I'll just sort of push him.
And he just he just nudges and he just and
And his belly takes a lot to fill.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
as he looks to you, Theron.
I am so sorry.
I know, he keeps stealing my portions of food.
And he reaches over to shake your hand.
My name is Braun Binglestout. It is so nice to meet Melon's boyfriend. Finally in the flesh. I'm so glad you are here to take care of him and look after filling his belly and emptying his balls.
I'm not quite that way inclined, but
I don't care what you call yourself. You make my cousin happy.
So now I know why you reject my advances. Okay.
And you hear Jalen just sound up.
Okay. Let's not be all crass now. We're eating. It's time for food.
And she just eyes at Braum.
I'm sorry. I was just being polite. I will eat my food and shut up, Ma. I apologize. Sorry, Papa.
And Drimbar just like looks on. And looks over to Jalen.
Listen, boys are gonna be boys, you know, the kind of shite that they come out with. I mean, half of it is just unintelligible nonsense anyway.
And Jalen just looks to all of you.
So, I hope everyone enjoys the stew.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Don't
Thank you.
don't forget to help yourself to all of the homemade bread. It only took me 4 days this time to make, so I really hope that you enjoy it.
I'll rip a bit off. Only when someone else, Pop or herself, has taken some.
And you see straight away Drimbar just grabs the bowl and just begins chugging and chugging and chugging. As soon as he sets it down, he grabs the ladle and pours another. And then just in that moment,
Oh, I don't have any bread left.
and at this point Braum just tears a piece off of some of his
Don't worry, you fat bastard.
and just launches it over the table, and he catches it. And just in that moment, almost surprising himself that he caught it. And you start hearing some of the laughter between Rory, Braum, Drimbar, and Littles, and then especially Rayloff, who's just chuckling away. But you all, there's this weird sense that there are certain actions that happen over the table that you wouldn't ever do in other tables, and it seems like it's a little bit intense for a moment before the laughter comes, and it just becomes just very, very friendly and very, again, loving family.
Now, can someone tell me, what is the tale behind the dire bear? Who killed it?
Well, that one That one would actually be me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how did you achieve this?
Well, you see, what I did was I heard there was a dire bear just roaming around outside the village, and obviously Rory being Captain Rory, soon to be, I hurled myself out with just me, naked with an axe, and I found him and I killed it.
Really?
It must have been a sight.
Yeah.
Could you tell me what really happened?
Basically that, except
Not naked?
no, she was covered in the bear's blood as she stabbed it over and over
I'll go to Rory and go,
and over.
well done! That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
I know a dire bear is very strong, you see.
And
I'm gonna just go into detail with
yeah,
how good the dire bear is. It's very tactical and it's very good with the smells and
you
Just go
you
into
you almost see steam coming out of his ears as his eyes
Yeah.
are just
a lot of
and
information.
as he's looking at you and you're just like describing all this to Rory and his eyes are just locked on yours but kind of exhausting. You hear mumbling just next to you. Brougham just says, and don't forget about when we killed the dire bear. Rory shit himself when it gargled on its last breath.
I didn't do anything like that. I mean, listen, I was brave and stout. Just as those Bengal stouts are. That's why I'm going to be captain.
And you just hear Brougham, yeah, whatever. Whatever sounds good to you, foolish prick. And there's a few chuckles around the table.
Carry on eating the stew.
You all find it a very hearty, very filling, cozy, homemade stew. The bread itself is warm, just almost fresh out of the oven, and it really is like just. I wouldn't say the taste is necessarily anything that mind blowing, but just the home comfort food really sets all of you at ease. Even Red behind, like just next to on the other side of you, Terra. Even Red is kind of sinking into a chair, just really relaxed, grabbing a small cup of ale, a couple sips with dipping some bread in the stew, and it's very relaxing.
It kind of reminds me of home.
Hey, well, don't worry, you'll soon be back home when you're doing all your sightseeing and you're not dying. Well, hopefully not dying.
Yeah.
You gotta look after Rayloff, don't you, Theo?
You got to
That's
look
true.
after the ones you love, son.
Mm-hmm.
And just starts patting your hand through your arm. And just before we get to the point where you think there's any tension between you and I. And he just like very gently brings your hand to him and leans forward on the table. What was your name again? Threeron? Right, Threeron. Aye. What's your last name?
Love Staffson.
Threeron Lofstofsson. As Pop, as the gods above me look down upon us and decide where we're going, I'll very graciously give you my blessing to take the hand of my melon and take care of him from now until all the days that come.
I'll take it under consideration, thank you.
And he just like pulls your hand a little bit more and he just,
Oh, jeez. Thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. I thought I'd adhere to your custom.
My custom.
Well, you're keeping my melon's balls empty, so I imagine you kiss his hands from time to time.
To be honest, I thought that was Gerald's job, but
I'm just FPS.
I'm getting so confused about what kind of relationships you all have nowadays. Isn't it just wonderful? And you hear Jalen just...
Yes, dear, it's absolutely lovely. Yes. Now eat some more stew, otherwise you'll get too thin.
And you see like... and you see him like get another ladle full and drop it in his bowl. I don't know what I'd do without you, love. And just begins to chug it and just all stew and bits get down his beard again.
Now, Rory.
Aye.
Your key to being an excellent captain is to say what you want, say it proud, say it confident, don't give in, and no matter how bad shit it sounds, they will figure it out on how to do it. You just have to say the orders.
Okay.
I sound like you've been it.
Oh, I can do that. Easily.
Also, apparently have a dragon to get around with you.
I might be
It's
lacking
that-
on the dragon part, but I can definitely tell people what to do.
Nonsense, it's that confidence that got me the dragon in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Okay, alright, okay. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I'll have to practice that. You need to give me a little bit of leeway though, just to practice a little.
Yeah, Gerald here managed to bag a dragon in bed.
Nice. Was she gentle?
Absolutely not. That is fucking amazing.
And you see Rory is kind of like aghast and like taken back and kind of looks to you almost like empathizing and like wanting to apologize for you until you hear Braum Braum reaches over the table, grabbing the side of your face, Gerald.
Yeah.
You are one dirty little bastard. It just like throws your head back and forth a little bit before pouring out of the huge wooden jug some ale into your cup.
Oh, thank you. But yes, I don't know. Right, Rory,
Aye.
tell me tell me to pass over that ale. Command me.
Okay. Pass me that ale, please.
No, absolutely not. Right, no please. It is either you, subject, servant, I don't care, even belittle someone a little bit, just to let them know they're below you.
Gerald,
And
Okay.
Gerald,
I got this
here,
one.
now.
Before
that's the sort of thing.
before you go, let me just try this one more. Hello.
No, you've already failed.
Okay. Okay. One more try.
No,
One more try.
you've already failed again.
And you kind of see him take a deep breath and like his eyebrows like just furrow into anger as he looks to you.
Listen here, you feathered fuck. You're gonna give me that ale now?
Better, but
And then-
Yeah,
And just as you pass it over, you just hear very quietly,
If you don't mind.
oh, for fuck's sake, I take it back.
Nearly had it.
Oh, you're very kind, Rory, and you'll make an absolutely lovely ruler, but you will never command the leadership.
I'll work on it. Okay?
Chill. Just less pleasantries until you're happy with people. Until then, let them know who's boss.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
What?
I'm sure your
So
brother would
whisper
mind
to
some...
whisper to Braum. He is gonna get absolutely smacked around.
he's gonna get fucking killed.
Yeah.
At least I'll be around just in case it gets a little bit too fucked up.
Yeah.
And Jalen kind of interjects.
So, I'm glad everyone is looking like they're enjoying it, the food.
Fantastic.
Can I offer any of you any more ale or some after dinner crackers?
Could we
I'm
take some
good, thanks.
crackers for the road?
You can absolutely,
Do we
yeah.
have crackers?
I made loads earlier.
It'd be nice. if we make a stew later?
Great. Okay. I'll go grab some for you.
Thank you. Very appreciate it.
Do you want any jerky as well, or any fish ale?
We can have another drink. But the jerky.
Jerky. So you want the crackers, the jerky? You sure you don't want some ale? Wait, I think we got some wine in the back.
And you just hear Drimbar straight away. Oh, just leave him alone for 1 second, darling. Next thing you're gonna be offering us their fucking house. Stop.
And
You don't give us the keys then?
And Jalen just goes,
oh, just stop being rude to our guests, you silly prick. I'm just being nice.
I know, darling. I love you. Okay, alright. She'll get your things. Now, really big question. You go into Geralf for whatever reason that you decide to. And I do wish you all the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
And we will offer you help through whatever you need. If we have it, we can provide. Okay.
Thank you.
But before we get to those matters, I need to know who's bunking with who.
Well, Theron and...
I am not bunking with Rayloff tonight.
What? Pop is giving you your blessing. So you're basically together.
Okay, I get it. So, we'll talk a little more, we'll have a bit more to drink and a bit more to eat, and then when we go to bunk, Bird, Gerald, aye?
Aye.
Gerald, you can go and sleep in Roy and Brome's room. Tara, you and the little redhead can go and sleep in our room with me and Jalen.
Okay.
And do not worry, Melon. I would never forget you. You and your precious husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call yourself, little girl, you can have this entire room to yourself. We've got the rug, we'll bring out some blankets, get some candles if you really need it, just don't burn the house down, and keep the noise down a little bit if you want to start squirming and squealing.
I'll just use telepathy over to Rayloff, and I'll just be like, I swear to God.
You fuck me up the ass.
And you hear Drimbar just then as he picks up an ale to all of you. And lastly, welcome to the Bingle Stout home. All of you.
To the Bingle Stouts.
Welcome. And as you all throw back some fresh, refreshing, cold ale, fruity and earthy, wondering what chaos this visit would bring, settling in to the Bingle Stout residence and Rayloff's family home. That is where we're going to end tonight's episode and come back next week for to continue from then.
I hate you so much.
You love me. You fucking love me.
Nah.
Oh, I think that reminds me. Next week, I won't be here, so we won't be running an episode next week because I am disgusting. But we will be back the week after, and unless any I don't know, important things happen, or whatever emergencies, then we will be just straight back to every week, just consistently like normal. But I had so much fun this episode, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed it as well. We're finally in Rayloff's home, and
Yeah, so much fun.
shut up. You're going to have so much fun later.
Very close company.
Cuddle buddies, if you will.
Little girl.
You're my favourite little girl.
But don't worry, we'll get back to that next episode. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for being here. We hope you've enjoyed watching this shit show of everything. We've had a blast so far, and we very much look forward to next time. But with all that said and done, thank you very much for watching. It was a lot of fun, and we'll see you again next time.